am John's clinical supervisor for the ABA program. I spoke to his parents a little while ago and they shared a concern with his attention skills, so I'm here and I wanted to see your take on it.
Okay, I'm Johnny's kindergarten teacher and I'm actually glad you stopped by because I've been having trouble getting Johnny to follow through with instructions lately in the classroom.
Okay, so could you perhaps run by me some scenarios or examples, so I could have a clear idea of what you're talking about?
Sure. One of the main areas of concerns that I'm having with Johnny right now is circle time and getting him to follow through with instructions when coming to circle time. So circle time runs daily around about 11 o'clock in the morning, and it runs for about 20 minutes. And circle time is for where the kids develop on social skills and they work on things like show and tell or listen to a story. So I usually get the children's attention by ringing a bell where upon the kids are expected to drop everything that they're doing and come sit on the carpet in the front of the classroom for circle time. So I'm having a little bit of a difficulty getting Johnny to attend to those instructions and follow through like the other kids do. So at the moment I'm having to stop assisting all the other kids and go and assist Johnny one-on-one and bring him to sit up circle.
Okay, so when you make the instruction, what do you notice? What does John do?
He usually, when I make the instruction to come sit at circle, he will usually just kind of go about what he's already doing. So
Okay.
he stays engaged in what he's doing.
Okay, so it sounds like a pretty common problem. So what I would like you to do is follow what I call a procedural checklist. And it's a sequence of events basically that will address his attention deficiencies. And hopefully it'll work for the better. The main focus is what we call at the ABA department is physical prompts. Physical prompts works on a hierarchy. So the most reliant a child could be is in a prompt called the full physical, and followed by partial physical, gestural prompt, and then finally what we want, independence. So beginning, when we start on a new skill, we have to go in with the lowest one, which is a full physical prompt. As the name suggests, you will guide the child from point A to point B by physically maneuvering his direction. So in this case, you would come down to his eye level and make the SD or the instruction again. Maintain eye contact and say it's circle time, and whereby you will guide the child physically from his seat to the circle time. And as you do, you say this is coming for circle time, and as he sits down, excuse me, you praise him in the form of social praise, which could vary from a hug, high five, good job, way to go, pretty much anything. But it all comes down to also how you say it. It's your expression. It's the energy level that you put in, and then followed by once this happens, you have to immediately bring the child back to point A, which is this table, and then you go up the prompting hierarchy, which would next be partial physical. As the name suggests, it's not quite the same physical control that you will have on the child, but you will guide the child towards the point of destination, which is circle time, and followed by gestural prompting, where you will issue the instruction, but in this time you will not be controlling his movement, you will just be pointing towards the final direction, which is the spot in circle time. Now, throughout each phase of teaching, a few things to remember. Number one, you immediately do not leave any pause in between each teaching phase. Once a full physical is demonstrated, you have to go back and complete it with a partial physical. And once that is successfully completed, you go on to a gestural prompt and to independent, hopefully an independent. And each time I want you to keep in mind eye contact, clear instructions, social praise, and as you go up the hierarchy of physical prompting, you need to up your social praise. So find a way to be more animated, more enthusiastic. You ideally want the child to feel that he's accomplishing something. So if that's okay with you, I'd like to demonstrate a few techniques.
Sure, I just have a few questions beforehand. So when I do go with these teaching trials, do I do this with the other kids in the classroom, or do I teach on this separately?
You make a very good point. Obviously, having more kids in the room and being a teacher is very...
We usually have 2 teachers per class.
Oh, that's perfect. Okay. So it would still be physically demanding for any teacher, I'm sure. So I would start off any teaching in a contrived situation, in a controlled environment, before you test it out in a natural environment, which would be a normal class setting. So have John stay back a couple of times during recess. So you could work with him a little one-on-one time. And then if you feel more confident with it, then you can implement the same procedural checklist in the actual natural setting. Does that answer your question?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay. So if there's not any other questions, then maybe I could demonstrate how you would perform this checklist.
Sure, I can do that.
Okay, so I'm going to pretend to be you, and then you can pretend to be John.
Okay.
So as John does his work, I'm going to ring the bell. Sorry?
Sorry, I was just going to say, we can take seats over there.
Where would you like?
So I can sit over there?
Oh, absolutely, go for it. Whatever's convenient for you. Okay, so let's assume this is point B, aka circle time. Okay. So I'm going to sit beside you while you are doing your task, while John does his task, and I will ring the bell, issue the instruction, circle time. And now it's very important that I give John a few seconds. Maybe it takes him a few seconds to comply. So we want to give him that opportunity, so we have a clear idea. And now, once the few seconds have been given to him, say approximately 30, you will go up to him, lower yourself down, maintain eye contact, and say, John, it's circle time. And then you will do a full physical prompt, which is holding him and directing him. And as you do, you say, that is coming for circle time. Good job, buddy. Compliments, instructions, social praise, all at eye level. And right as soon as this is done, praise is given, you pick up the child and get him back on the table where he was initially. This is errorless training, so you really want to do it without any pause in between. And now we're going to move in. If you remember, now it's time for partial physical. And it's not as physically directive by the teacher. So this time again, eye level. And now I'm saying it's time for circle time. And then I'm just going to guide you partially, as the name suggests. The child sits back down. I praise him. I say, good job, way to go, buddy. High five, pat on the back, whatever makes him happy. And then again, like the first time, we come back down. Thank you. Getting handed. And now for the other one, I'll ring the bell. I'll say, it's time for circle time. And now it's only a gestural prompt. So I'm going to maintain eye contact with the kid. And I'm going to say, John, it's circle time. And hopefully that would result in a response like that. And now you praise him again, but now this time you don't have to do much physical prompting. So remember, as he gets less and less dependent, you up your social praise. So the last one, if you can come back. Remember, you have to do this back during teaching phase. Again, you ring the bell, maintain eye contact, say, John, it's time for circle time. And that is the sort of response that you want. That's perfect. Now, if in case while you're moving up the hierarchy, you wonder, he doesn't get it right on the gestural prompt, you will just move up a level. So you go back to partial physical. You do the training in partial physical. Once he gets it, you move towards the gestural prompt and then the independent. So on and so forth. At what stage, whatever stage he may have trouble, You just track it back by one step. Is there any questions to that step?
So in the last independence, if he gets to independence, what kind of things do you suggest that I reinforce him on?
Oh, perfect, because as I suggested that you have to go with differential reinforcement. The more and more independent he becomes, you want to let him know that he's doing a great job. And the best way to promote independence is give him something that really motivates him. So if there's something in class that he really likes or something that he looks forward to.
Yeah, he usually looks for dinosaurs or dinosaur books.
Perfect. So when he gets into circle time, you say, "Good job, buddy, I'm really happy you came back." Give him that praise that he wants. And then you let him have his book and say, you can read it for whatever time. I'll leave that up to you, a minute or two. And after the time is done, you may take it away. So he associates a highly reinforceable, tangible item with independence, correctly paying attention to instructions. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, obviously, I know that ABA might not be your area of expertise, so whatever I have mentioned, I've written it down in a performance checklist. So I know the benefit of teaching in the contrived situation is you can have the performance checklist next to you, read each step as you perform it, get yourself familiarized before you get into the natural setting. And accordingly, you can mark yourself, check marks if you've completed something, cross it if you haven't. And this way you can even mark yourself by percentage, say so. And if you have any difficulties at that point, you can have a few more sessions of contrived situations, or if you feel more comfortable where you're at soon, you can transit into the natural setting. That's totally your call. And if there's anything at all, you can always call or email. I'm more than happy to help you. So I think that's about it from me. If there's any questions that you have.
Yeah, I just have one question.
Sure.
So about how many times should I create these contrived situations in order to achieve independence of a behavior?
Absolutely. Well, as you know, the primary focus of this is to promote independence, and it should be long-lasting independence. So, for example, if on day one you do manage to end the teaching with an independent, the following day you do the prompting in reverse. So the following day I would go in with the instruction with the hope of an independence. And if it doesn't, then I move on to gestural prompt. And if that doesn't work, and then I'll keep going down the hierarchy with the partial physical, a full physical. Similarly with verbal prompts, I'll go in with an independent, phonemic, partial verbal, and a full verbal. And basically you start off the day with the prompt that you ended with the previous day.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you?
Okay. Thank you so much for your help and commitment.
No
We'll
problem.
check in a couple of weeks.
Perfect. Thank you so much.